Okay, thank you very much for joining us today. And it's
Welcome.
a pity that we could not do it in person. At least we can meet you through Zoom. Due to the COVID-19, Japan became kind of closed country. The border was closed. Interaction has really diminished. So we really want to change this trend. And we started new series of interviews with leaders around the world. And this is the first one. And it's really our great pleasure and honor to start this series with Professor Lars French. So I think first set of the interview, we ask you about ILDS. And the second half, we'll ask you about Germany and also the dermatology situation in Germany and also about yourself. Is that okay?
The mission of the ILDS is to increase the awareness, to increase cooperation and communication within the global dermatology community with the aim of improving high quality education, clinical care and research, everything that you need to innovate and improve skin health at a global level, right? And yeah, there's examples how we do that, right? We do that by interacting. We represent member societies. We don't represent really individuals directly. And we have over 120 member societies, the JDA being one important one of them. And indirectly, that means over 220,000 dermatologists. And we try to be a voice for dermatology at a global level. And one real example how we do that is we're the only dermatological society that is in official relations with the WHO. So we are a partner. Major achievements so far. So the World Congress of Dermatology is definitely a major achievement. The one in Milan was the biggest ever, and that is an achievement providing continuous medical education at a high level and covering all global themes in dermatology is one achievement. The second one is obviously being in official relations with the WHO and doing things like, for example, designing the ICD-11, which will come. It's already been launched, but it will soon be in our practices. You know that in ICD-10, mainly mortality plays a role. So the cardiologists, the oncologists have it much better than dermatologists for paying back their what they do for patients. Mm-hmm. In ICD-11, we have fought and have been able to make it so that morbidity plays also an important role. And in diseases that are frequent for us, atopic dermatitis, psoriasis, and others, morbidity is much more prevalent for us than mortality. And it's important to take account of that. These patients have a really bad quality of life that's equivalent to someone who has a heart attack or cancer. But this was not taken into account in ICD-10, and it is taken into account in ICD-11. No, I never planned so far ahead. You know, so I'm a clinician scientist, and my dream was always from the beginning to be able to innovate and publish in high impact journals and really try and better understand pathogenesis of disease that would bring up new modalities to treat patients. And I think all my career I've been going after that, which, like you, Amasa, is a huge challenge when you do clinical work alongside. I spend 50% of my time seeing patients, but I also get a lot of ideas for research by seeing patients in difficult situations where we don't have the right treatment, or we can't, you know, diseases like pyoderma gangrenosum, where there's no good diagnostic criteria. And that's something we're working on now with transcriptomics to try and see if we can do better than clinic and histology for diagnosing. Those are challenges I love, and I love doing that. And yeah, with time, I started to be more active in societies, and and realized how important societies like research, ESDR, JSID are, but also international societies like the ILDS. So the WCD in Singapore will be from the 3rd to 8th of July in Singapore. And well, it's a wonderful city. I would say, a leading place in the world for dermatology and science, with A-STAR, the National Center for Research, and the dermatology centers that are there. A wonderful local organizing committee under the leadership of Professor Roy Chan. So with a great location, great social program, a melting pot of science and clinics in dermatology. So I think we have a fantastic program. It's practically finished now. So the chairs and co-chairs worldwide are organizing their sessions and inviting the speakers. And yeah, we are challenged because in a time of COVID, we didn't know whether we would be able to make a live conference. We now are sure we're going to do this live with hygiene measures that enable us to do a live conference. Yeah, and we will be very grateful if you encourage Japanese. It's not a long way, and we really look forward to meeting with our Japanese colleagues. So I think the ILDS, if it is able, and this is my wish, to work more and more closely with the other dermatological societies worldwide and their executives on a common agenda to try and define what is really needed to improve dermatological care and skin health worldwide, then I think we are best placed to take this on and try and act on this at an international level. As I said, through the WHO, by making sure access to the important medications is lobbied for worldwide, to make sure that outdoor workers get better protection from UV, which is creating skin cancer problems worldwide, and to provide the education we need worldwide and decide how should we make curriculum so that dermatologists in all parts of the world can be really well educated and treat patients best possible. To provide care in very poor resource regions, we have to work together. We can't forget these regions of the world. We have to really help provide better care and also educations in these regions of the world. This is not a Japanese problem, it's a problem that exists worldwide. And the XYZ generations, they set a lot of priority on work-life balance and on quality of life. And we can also see the amount of work that we have at the clinical level is not getting less. And usually in hospitals, the amount of work, hours of work that doctors have to do is decreasing. You have to do the same job with people who are working 10 or 20% less. So that means what happens is less time for teaching, there's less time for research. And that's a real challenge. That means our young people have a hard time doing research in their work time. And the only way to do it is to do it either to have protected time. That means to finance time where they can do just research and are freed from clinical work, or that these people work on the weekend in the evening, and that's more and more difficult. So I think the only way forward is for institutions and governments, and that's where we also have to do policy work, to organize grant systems that enable young individuals who are interested and motivated to do research to be able to do that. I think it's our jobs as chairpersons and people who can see how wonderful it can be to do research and clinical work together, and how beautiful it can be to discover something new that may be useful to patients down the line. We have to make that contagious and pass that on to the younger generations that we are teaching in our department. So I'm very confident it will be a fantastic meeting. I remember the IID in Kyoto. It was one of the best meetings I ever delivered.
Oh.
You Japanese, you are the best hosts in the world. And the science in dermatological science in Japan is incredible. And I don't know how to be in 15 years. You are saying about the problems if you decrease to 40 hours, but you are privileged because you have a lot of great clinician scientists and scientists in Japan. You have, when you see, I mean, you are big, great players in the scene of science in dermatology, and wonderful organizers. I am so confident this will be a fantastic Congress where dermatological scientists and clinicians from the whole world will be excited to come.
I really appreciate for your time and also very insightful words to the JDA members. I really appreciate it. Being a dermatologist is a very special thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. We have a wonderful specialty.
Yes.
And a specialty where you can see what's happening in the skin and you can really have an impact on the way we will treat patients in the future by doing research that's clinically oriented.
Yeah. And also big advantage as a dermatologist, we can take biopsy.
Yeah.
Means we can use the skin biopsy to the single cell analysis as a modern technology to really dissect out the molecular mechanism in human.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
huge advantage over
huge
neurology
advantage.
or other specialties.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have to move forward together.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. So the ILDS is just so happy to have the JDA as a member, and I look forward to further collaboration.
Yes. Yes.
It was
Thank you
great
very
talking
much.
to you. Great
Yeah.
talking to you, Masa.
Thank you very much again.